Okay, so the next couple we're going to talk about is David and Annie. So David and Annie have a grand ceremony. I thought it was an engagement party, but I guess it isn't, or maybe it's a duel, but it cost a lot of money. David is just very happy. He is so excited to be dressed in his traditional Thai outfit. Annie looks beautiful. David is expected to give a lot of people money. Like, he is handing out 100 baht here, 100 baht there, doing all that he can do. They have like a procession through the town where they're dancing. He's having such a good time. His friend Chris and Nikki show up. P.S. Thank you guys for shouting out that those two are YouTubers. In fact, I watched a couple of their videos. They're a little too long-winded and there's no editing, so I couldn't fully watch the whole video. But like, I had seen them prior to me even seeing the show, and I just didn't recognize them because they look different. Nikki looks different with makeup on. And they're going along in this procession down the street. David's so happy, but he has to be giving out money, passing out money. It's like Annie keeps telling him, I need 3,000 baht, I need 2,000 baht, I need all this stuff, so he keeps handing money. Thank God Chris gets there because he runs out of money, and he even has to ask Chris for money during the ceremony. During the party, he asks Chris for money so that he can give money out to people. Like, David is broke, y'all. And let me tell you how broke he is, okay? Later on, after the engagement, after that fun time they had, they fly to Bangkok and they hang out in Bangkok for a day or two before they have to leave for the United States. They meet up with Chris and Nikki and they're having dinner out in this beautiful terrace. Like, it looks so beautiful. Chris has invited David to come back and live with them. David doesn't have any other place to go because after his divorce and all the messiness, he just flew to Thailand. So he's nothing back in the United States. And Nikki and Chris want to lay down some ground rules. So first Chris, says like, hey, you guys are going to have the basement, and then you're going to have this space over here, and then we're going to share the kitchen. Chris mentions like, oh, David says that you're a pretty good cook and I like Thai food. So, and then Annie starts to pick up on what he's saying, and she's like, oh, okay, I can cook for you. Even that is a little weird for me. Like, you're having guests come stay with you, and one of the things you ask is that they be out at that 90 days. They figure their ish out and get out of your house at the 90 days. And Nikki wants to really reiterate that is all they have. But then you also like mention something about them cooking. And I find that is a little forward, but okay. It's a little bit US imperialistic for you to ask for people who are coming to move with you, especially because it's not like David is not an American. David is an American. So to ask his wife, his new wife, if while they're living with them she can cook is a little much. I almost thought that he was going to ask her to clean as well, which I'm like, are you making her pay for room and board? Because that's what it feels like. Just when I think that it can't get worse, I was so embarrassed for them. And then Chris is like, well, David mentioned that you give really good massages. So, I like massages like by the pool. I would like to get a massage by the pool if that's what you're into. You were going to ask your best friend's wife to give you a back massage by the pool as part of her duties because you've allowed them to live in your house. That is so inappropriate. And the entire time, when Annie is staring at Chris looking blankly at him because I think she thinks she hears what she heard but isn't sure that she heard what she heard, David is just like looking back and forth. He does not immediately say, whoa, Chris, like, no, don't worry, I'll pay extra if that's what you want, but my wife will not be giving you a back massage, a body massage outside by the pool because we live with you. And Nikki just sat there. Nikki sat there and let her husband ask another man's wife to give him a massage just because they're allowing them to live with them. I was like, was Nikki gonna ask for a mani and a pedi too? Were they gonna ask her to nanny and clean and cook too? This is just, and I was really disappointed in Nikki for not standing up and saying something, because that is so inappropriate. She was quick to tell David that a dowry wasn't paying for your wife, but she's gonna sit up here and let her husband ask this woman to massage his back? Why? Just because she's Asian? Just because she's a foreigner and Asian, you feel like it's appropriate to ask her to massage your back sometime because she's living in your house? It's not her fault she's living in your house. It's David's fault. So if you want anyone to rub your back, it should be David. And then we move on to another infuriating situation. So now we have David and Evelyn. David meets the family. They have the Welcome to America party that they were going to have for him. It's still only been the 24 hours, so we picked up exact same day we left off in last episode between them. They're having a conversation. Everyone comes in. They're really excited to meet David. David is talking to the family, and he mentions wanting to leave New Hampshire for warmer climates, and that he wants to move to Virginia or somewhere like that. The family is taken aback, and this is exactly Solomon's worst nightmare because he absolutely saw that this was coming. And the family, the mother and father, were too busy praying for their daughter's husband to even think about that being a possibility. Because Americans, for whatever reason, think that foreigners want to come here and do whatever they tell them to do, not that they have any agenda or a life of their own that they would like to lead. It makes Evelyn a little awkward because she now knows this conversation's about to happen in front of everybody in her family, except for Aunt Ginger, because Aunt Ginger absolutely loves David. She walked in and gave him a big old hug, girl. She was ready to meet David. She was like, ooh, they make such a cute, handsome couple. I love them. Anyways, David goes on to say, like, yeah, I really want to move. I don't want to live here. And the family's just like, what about the band? And he's like, well, you guys can get somebody else to take Evelyn's place. And Evelyn's mom is like, Evelyn is the band. And he's like, well, the band can come to Virginia. Like, David is so... it's like both of these two people don't understand that they have to make room for certain allowances in each other's lives. Like, this courtship happened way too quick and they didn't have any conversation about anything. Because him talking about the band can come with them, or they're gonna have to get somebody else. They're gonna have to get somebody else to replace Evelyn. I'm sorry, do you not know that Evelyn is the band? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, David, you're not actually going anywhere. So I think at this point, mom's a little annoyed. Definitely not anticipating this at all. And then Michaela comes in. And we all know that Michaela is in love with Evelyn, her best friend that she's known forever. In the last episode, Evelyn has already told David that Michaela isn't too happy about their scenario. That Michaela wants him to slow down and feels like the age difference is a problem, and the speed of the wedding. Again, why you would say that to your significant other to set him up knowing that one of your friends already doesn't like him is silly, but okay, Evelyn's young. So David is defensive immediately. Guys, let's think about this. David is 8 years older than Evelyn. He's 27 or 28 years old. So he's actually a little bit more older than her. He's 8.5 years older than her. Almost 9 years. And it frustrates me because David does something that is so disgusting that I don't know that I will ever get back on his side. He is insecure. He is an insecure male for him to do this. Because he's older than everybody in the room at this moment, and he does this, and it's so petty and so stupid. Michaela is airing her grievances and politely talking about, you know, the age difference and the time period. And instead of David trying to appease the best friend and, like, you know, be like, I understand your concerns. This is, you know, what we feel, and we hope that one day you'll be fine with this, and blah, blah, blah. He immediately goes into defensive and says to Michaela, do you have a boyfriend? Are you in a relationship? And she's like taken aback a little bit, and she's like, no. And he's like, yeah, you sound like somebody who's not in a relationship. Evelyn is like, Michaela starts to cry and says, okay, I wish you guys the best. I'm just letting you know that this is what I think, and you're my best friend, and I wanted to give my opinion, and I hope you guys are fine and happy. Evelyn starts to cry too because she sees her best friend across from her tearing up because her whole boyfriend just says something super effing rude to her that was so uncalled for and so unnecessary. And David is even like defensive, like, well, everybody else has been so nice to me and you haven't been nice to me. That is no excuse, David. Michaela wasn't mean to you. Airing her grievances as a best friend should do. And that makes her a good friend. And Evelyn gets up and hugs her friend afterwards, and Michaela leaves and she does a confessional to the cameras and she's still crying. And she's talking about the fact that she feels like no one is taking her words into consideration. And she's not trying to be a hater, she's just trying to get them to think. And it's very clear that nobody's thinking in this scenario. And I can't believe that Evelyn just sat there and let that happen and didn't immediately check David. I don't know that David will ever come back from this in my book. I was on his side, and this is like, he is mean. He is a mean person. And he's supposedly super Christian. No. The next conversation that David and Evelyn end up having is David asks if any of Evelyn's friends and family would be willing to host any of his friends, just because financially this might be a strain on them. And Evelyn is just like, no one's gonna want to take strangers into their house, which I find to be very shocking, actually. I don't know how else to explain that. I think it's really crazy for her to not even ask, even like a couple people, like even Aunt Ginger. Ask Aunt Ginger if someone can stay in her house. I mean, I don't know how clean Aunt Ginger's house is. You know, she's like, they can stay at hotels. There's like a hotel in the next town over. There's a couple places they can stay. So not only does she want them to come to the US and pay an extra dollars to get a tux, she also wants them to stay in a hotel and rent cars. Evelyn is pretty, like, she just is too young to understand how financially draining that is. Like, if there's an opportunity for her family members or friends to take in a couple people, why not? I get it if her friends and family really aren't open to that, but I think David would need to think about that. Because, like, I can't imagine a scenario, like, anytime our family comes into town, they stay with us. And if my husband asked me if there was possibly a way for that to happen, I know there's 2 of my aunts who would say yes. The ones who had room would be fine with hosting. But I guess, you know, I'm from a foreign family. So, I don't know. I just feel like that's weird. The expense to come to the United States and get lodging and get transportation is a lot. They like briefly talked about Aika and Josh. Aika, her eyes, those contacts are freaky. She's 36 years old. She's from the Philippines. Josh is 43 years old. He's from Arizona, and he has brought Aika. Apparently they got engaged after 5 days of knowing each other. I guess he was in the Philippines. I don't know their scenario. His friend does not think that Aika's come to the United States for the right reasons. But she's a grown woman with no kids, and she speaks very good English. So she's not like, you know, Larry and Jenny situation. This is a woman who knows exactly what she wants, and there's no language barrier, nothing like that. No ignorance about anything. She is ready to go. She's in her sexy little outfit at all times. She gets off the plane in heels. She like shimmies around him. This is gonna be Josh's 3rd marriage. And I'm just interested to see where this goes. Now, it's concerning to me that Josh has roommates. So he's expecting Aika to live in this, I guess, 3-bedroom house with him and his 2 roommates who aren't in a relationship. It would be different if they were, but no, they're not. So Aika's talking about wanting to move out of that place as soon as possible because she's a grown woman and needs her space, and I am absolutely 100% with her. She didn't come to the United States to live with her 43-year-old boyfriend and his 2 roommates. Josh's best friend, I can't remember his name, tries to grill Aika, and she's just as honest and tries to be as nice and cordial to him as he isn't being to her, how she chose the United States. And I'm just like, why not choose the United States? If you find a guy here you like and they happen to be an American, why not come here and get your life? Like, okay, that is it. I'll have more on Josh and Aika when they give me more to talk about, but, you know, besides her contacts and her weird eyebrows, I have nothing else to say. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please join the conversation down below. I'm going to try to get these videos out weekly. This is going to be a tough week for me because, actually, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to get the 90-Day Fiancé out next week. I'm going to do my very best, but I got a lot going on next week. I'm writing, I'm shooting, a lot going on. It's that top secret project I told you guys about. Also, shout out to my sister Yuna for watching 90-Day Fiancé. I had no idea that my sister in New York City watches 90-Day Fiancé, and she finally went to my YouTube channel and then saw that I do these videos and is so excited, and now we can talk about it. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or would like to join the conversation, please leave a comment down below. If you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please click the link down below. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.